All right, so I believe we are in. Okay, you guys, welcome in. Welcome to your self-publishing workshop. You guys, I am so excited that you are here. For those of you that do not know me, my name is Erica Ruiz, and I have published about 17 books now. They're all of different categories, different topics. I do publish on children's books, on real life challenges that they face, but I also publish for parents now and families and all about real life experiences. So that's who I am. I'm an author and I'm also a publisher. And I am here to teach you everything that you need to know about publishing your own book. So, and make your story come to life if it is that you want to publish a biography book. Can you guys see that next slide?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. Okay. All right, before I continue, does anybody want to tell me if you guys already started your book, if you have a title of your book, and if you do, go ahead and share your name and the title of your book, and let me know in the process you're at.
I haven't started, but I'm thinking about it, Erica, and you're inspiring me to do that.
Okay, good, good. Do you know
And
what it might be about?
I have a couple of ideas, and maybe I want to publish two books, not just one. My name is Ana Gonzalez, and the first book will be about my struggles as a mother with my son um, having to be on the spectrum, and how the whole all of the steps that I took to be able to get him to be functioning, high functioning, and that process. And then the second book will be to share my story, um, which is of resiliency and hard work and breaking through barriers that other people will probably would have given up.
Yeah, thank you for sharing that, Anna. Thank you for being vulnerable enough also to, share. I know that when it comes to book publishings, when it's about personal books about you, these topics can always carry some personality in them, right? So, I like to say that some of my books have been very sensitive as well. So, it is a way of healing. I do like to mention that once you start really working on your book, it is a type of healing therapy when it comes to writing. So, consider taking that next step, Anna. Thank you. Does anybody else want to share?
Um, I'll share. My name is Gloria Amaya. Um, I'm on here to advocate for my husband because so far he's written, I believe, three children's books. Um, but he hasn't that's as far as he's gotten. I
Okay,
know
you're in
he
the
was,
perfect place, actually.
and then he's written his autobiography, but that's as far as he's gotten. Personally, I would love to write a book on living with someone who was formerly incarcerated and going through those struggles because it's not easy, and a lot of women, or women and men, I mean, I only live with my husband, but I would like to get publish a book where it has both points of view of living with a male who was formerly incarcerated, and then having a male have his perspective of living with a woman who was formerly incarcerated, because adapting to reentry is not easy.
Yeah. Yeah, thank you, Gloria, for sharing. Gloria, I'm so happy to see you here.
Likewise,
So
been a
Gloria and
minute.
I met also in a children's event as well that had to
Mm-hmm,
do with my book on why is daddy in prison. So that's how we met.
mm-hmm.
And yeah, wouldn't you say that these topics are so meaningful, right? Like at the same time they carry some type of personality, like some heart to it as well.
I mean, it's a tool for healing. It's a tool for understanding. These are subjects and topics that most people don't talk about because they're taboo. As far
Exactly.
as dealing with, the lady said, dealing with the son or a child on the spectrum,
Mm-hmm.
that, I mean, it's great awareness, but it kind of gives parents the starting point of accepting, and healing from this traumatic, you know, diagnosis.
Yeah.
Everybody wants their child to be healthy, but dealing with that, I'm sure there's, like she said, there were struggles of even just accepting that that type of diagnosis. So I think all the books that you've produced and you've published have been really helpful.
Yeah. Thank you, Gloria, for sharing that. Thank you so much. Does anybody else want to share before we move forward? I think we only have 3 people in here right now. Okay, I'm gonna continue, you guys. So, congratulations on wanting to publish your book and your story. So many stories have personal meanings and others are created in the mind, like we just talked about right now. I like to see a book publishing as also a self-expression and voicing your voice, spreading a message that you want your audience to know about. And that's exactly what we just talked about right now. So what is the title of your book? You guys feel free to take notes. Once we're done, I'll have a Q&A so I can answer any questions. So I'm going to give you like the whole information. It's going to be a lot of info. So feel free to always ask me anything in the end, okay? Ask yourself what you would like your front cover to look like and visualize it. So in the beginning of the process of publishing, I always like to tell people, hey, let's envision your cover. How do you want it to look? What colors do you want it to have? What size? What's the title going to be? And then start sketching it out and designing it before sending it to your designer. So before you even start doing that, I recommend getting a notebook where you could start sketching, writing ideas as far as what is your title going to be? What do you envision it looking like? And where do you want your name as the author to go? Some people use it on the top, some people use it on the bottom, right-hand side, center. So it's all up to you. Remember, this is your book and you can design it however you want. The illustrator's names can also go on the front cover. That's also a choice. Creating a manuscript will be the next step. Can you guys see the picture?
Yes.
Are you guys able to? Okay. So you can
Yes.
choose to work on your manuscript from a Microsoft Word or a Docs file. So if you have those, you're ready to start. If you're creating a children's book, I suggest that you start with the title and then number each page. So Amazon will not publish anything if the numbers are not present. So keep that in mind. As you type the paragraphs of each page in it, see the sample on the next page. So I'll show you that next. If you're crafting a story, then you start the same. And the hardest part will be really just making time to write your story. So from the beginning, I would like to recommend, think about when do you want to write? The afternoons, the mornings, when does it work better for you? And start making a schedule for it, even if it's 1 hour a day, 1 hour a week. But as long as you have some type of schedule, that's honestly going to be the hardest thing to do to get you to start typing. Because once you start typing, then you'll type away. And then right here, I'm going to give you an example of a children's book manuscript that I've published. So this helps to keep it simple and clear to the illustrator and the editor because you're going to be working with other people once you're working on publishing your book. So for example, for me, I wrote in The Power of Griffith Park Pony Rides. This is just one that I was working on. And then I started off with the numbers are meaning the page numbers. So page 1, 2, 3, and 4. When I was just 5 years old, I remember going to Griffith Park rides quite often. So for me, that's an example of what I use for my children's book. So make sure to use that example also in a biography book, in a romance book, or any type of book that you're working on, okay? And then page 2, my father was a park ranger at the park. I remember feeling it was my favorite place to be. So that's just an example of how to start a children's book, but also utilize that information for your regular book. And then let's look into creating your story. What are the 7 steps to writing a short story? So writing a short story identifies the focus of the short story. So start writing, of course. Write a compelling beginning, creating a powerful ending, read your story out loud, edit, revise, and then ask for feedback. Do you guys have any questions right now in regards to what we already mentioned?
So explain to me or give me an example of a compelling beginning. Like what would
So
you
a
consider?
compelling beginning, for example, like when I started working on my short biography, I started working on visualizing a timeline. And then what I did is I started sketching out what I really wanted to talk about. So I started off with the years. So I put like, for example, 1995, the year of 1995. Then after that, I wrote in what I wanted to write about from the beginning. And then the next step, which would be another year or another topic of that same year, and then so on and so forth. So I started working on my childhood years. And then from that, then I went on to my teenage years and then my high school years. So something catchy, something that's going to talk a little bit more from the beginning and to the end, depending on the type of book you're writing.
Okay.
Okay. And then how long should a short story be? So really in reality, this is something that a lot of people like to hear when they say, okay, how long does it need to be? How many words? And this is just a sample. But in reality, you guys, like this is your book. You can write as much as you want, okay? But a short story length, we would say, would be like about 1,000 to 10,000 words, and usually 1,500 to 7,500 words. And that's just considered a short story, right? So about 3 to 30 pages. So the first page here, for the first page, as you know, we have the front cover. So the front cover, sometimes people like to use the first page that likes to match the front cover, but you don't have to have it that way. You can always feel free to change it up a little bit. It can include the title, your author's name, the illustrator's name, credits to an editor, or somebody that helped you to contribute. You can add your website on the first page, and then you could also add a YouTube channel if you have one and you want to advertise that. And let's take a look at the next sample. So for example, this book that I was writing right here with a few other authors, I chose to have my front cover look like this. I'm sorry, not the front cover, but my very first page. So I put hard times and I gave credits to the cover designer. And then I added his Instagram just to give him more clients and credit on the book. And then I added the contribution. So a thank you to artist Erica Waits for the contribution. And then I added her website. And then I added Nicholas Nelson as the editor. And then also I added my publishing company, which is Strong Family Bond. Copyrights page. So this copyrights page is very important to have in your story and in your book. You always want to copyright your book and your story because you want to prevent it from being stolen by any, we call them pirates in the author's field. We call them that way because they steal the rights to it if you don't have it copyrighted. And I always say never share your story or full file to anybody unless you know that it's somebody that's not going to steal it from you, which sometimes you're always going to risk that if you choose to share your file. So copyrights page is a must. Sorry, you guys. And then this is an example of a copyrights page and disclaimer. So you always have to write the copyright, that little C with the circle around it, and then you add the year that you are publishing it. After that, you add by, and then you add your name as the author. If you have other authors in your book, then you write them in here. And this is just an example of what I had on my last one. Then you add the all rights reserved. This book may not be reproduced or used in any matter whatsoever without the express written permission of the author, except for the use of brief quotations in a book review. And then I added the publisher's name, which is me. And then I add the disclaimer depending on the type of book it is. Sometimes it can have violence, it can have bad words. So you can add a disclaimer in there. Next, we're going to talk about the imprint. So what is an imprint name? As a self-publisher, you want to come up with a publishing name. Like for example, mine's is Strong Family Bond. This name is displayed in public wherever you sell your books. This will be listed on your books as well in the copyrights page and then often in any material that you have. So for example, if you do flyers, you're going to have it there. If you do like a tablecloth with your book publishing company there, that's going to be printed there too. So make sure that it's something that you really like. And I posted one here along with a sample of a logo. So this is like a simple logo right here. And this is called Express Publishing. So that's just an example. Because once you publish one book, it's just going to inspire you to do more. Sometimes people are left with just one, but in my case, I already published 17. And I noticed that to be present in a lot of people. And then logo is another thing that's important. This is your author's logo. This is another one that's going to follow you throughout the way. So make sure to like think about what you want in your logo. There's also Chat GPT nowadays, you guys, which makes it a lot more easier to come up with ideas. So have fun and play with it. I always say play with it and enjoy it because that's going to keep you more motivated and you in order for you to complete.
I had a question.
Yes.
My husband's nonprofit logo and business name are is copyrighted.
Mm-hmm.
Can he still use that?
He can. Yeah, he can use it for his book, but I would recommend for him to come up with a new one because then
Okay.
that would be a brand new logo. That would be like an imprint of him as an author.
No, okay.
Yeah. So maybe think about it, but I think you could, but I would say maybe try using a different one as an author.
Okay.
And then we'll go next to the dedication page and acknowledgement. So you have the option to dedicate it to anybody or anything or any group. It is going to be up to you. Some people choose to want to add a dedication and an acknowledgement page. Other people choose not to. So right here, I just put an example. I dedicate this to my professor. It is with my deepest gratitude and warmest affection that we dedicate this thesis to our professor, Dr. X, who has been a constant source of knowledge and inspiration. And that's just a very simple dedication. And then right here, this is a sketch of my illustration and the results. So for example, if you guys want to add any prints like illustrations into your book, I like to sketch out my books because it's just me. But then there's other illustrators that want to sketch it out for you. So that's going to be your choice. This is a sample of what I sketched out and then what the final result looks like. And then again, always add page numbers at the bottom of your manuscript, you guys. Resource page is also another option. I like to add resource pages in all of my books because I always like to offer help to people that buy my book. Like, for example, families of children that are incarcerated has resources in the back because every family that buys my book is also looking for help. So this has been very, very useful for a lot of my families. And they've actually really thanked me for this. So you guys can always consider adding a resource page at the back of your book. And feel free to screenshot this, you guys, if you guys want to. But like I said, also write it down if you have any questions after, okay? Excuse my parrot, you guys. I'm so busy and I have all my pets around me right now. Okay. And then next, let's talk about how to hire an illustrator. Again, if you're hiring an illustrator, these are some of the top freelancer websites that I've used in the past. And that's if you don't have somebody to actually illustrate your book. Some people want to do it themselves. I don't recommend that. I've done that myself, and the image was not what I expected, to be honest with you. But you can do it that way, but always consider hiring a professional. That way they can digitalize it for you so that the colors can come out really bright and good on print. Once you print out your book, it's going to make a huge difference. So these are some of the freelance companies that I've used myself. So you guys feel free, like I said, to screenshot this if you like. And then finding an editor. Again, the editor is also going to be used to help you edit your book. Some people already have professional editors. Make sure that they are professional, you guys. Sometimes we want to hire just anybody and pay cheap, but honestly, that you'll pay the price later. And I've done it myself. I share this with you because it's happened to me where I wanted to pay cheap and I still had errors, and that was like the biggest mistake ever. Always consider hiring a professional editor. If you guys need one, I have one that I really trust that I've been working with for the past 10 years. And then we have the back of the book cover, which is about the author. The back book cover will always have your short biography and about you. It will also have your book description. Let me see what I wrote here. So, a biography is information that tells your audience who you are. When writing an author's biography, write it in a third person reader. So, always write it in a way where it's talking like, Erica is a well known children's book author versus my name is Erica Ruiz. If that makes sense. Things to add here on your biography is your name, your last name, place of birth, any professions that you want to mention, any certificates, degrees, or accomplishments, and interests, hobbies, and your mission statement. In your biography section, you will add a nice professional picture. Have fun with taking these pictures as well so you can have a choice of what to choose that's going to go on the back cover of your book. All right, then we have the cover description. So this is what people usually read when they're going to purchase your book. For example, if your book is going to be in the library, a lot of people are always going to read the back cover of your book. If it has nothing, most people will not buy your book or they won't be interested in purchasing it. It must always have a book cover description. That's what I always recommend. This will give the reader information of the book and the story. Make it a catchy one to make it draw attention to the buyer. End it with the question to create curiosity of the book. So for example, right here, I believe that um my last paragraph was, will Emily finally find true love? So then this is what's going to give the reader like, oh my God, I have to read the story. And then this is what the back cover will look like. And at least this is what I designed. This is what my back cover looks like, but we can always redesign it in different ways. It's going to be a different color as well. You can use different fonts. The front and back cover file. So keep in mind that when you're working on your front cover and your back cover, you're going to create it into a file. Most people think that it's a front and back, like 2 pages, but it needs to be converted into a file, you guys. Because once you load it onto Amazon, the Amazon is only going to accept a file, not a front and back page, if that makes sense. And this is where your illustrator is going to help you. And if you guys need help with this, let me know because I have my own people that design my book covers, and then I can help you out with that. Putting the file together. So once you're ready and you're ready to put it together on a file, it's going to be time to format it. So formatting means that there's requirements on Amazon for it to fit on the load. And this is where we're gonna, sometimes this can be a little tricky right here. And I have my own people doing it, but like I said, you guys are welcome to hire anybody that you want from the other platform that I just shared right now. on the freelancer.com. Fiverr is one of the best ones that I like to use when looking for people that can format my book. I mean, I can do it. I just choose not to do it because it's really, really, it's a struggle. I mean, because I'm a writer and I rather just focus on my writing and then I'll have somebody help me load it. Let's see. Next, make sure that you do have 24 pages or more because Amazon will not publish less than 24 pages. And then again, decide what book size that you are going to create it into because that's when we're going to format it into the size required. Okay, then we have the ISBN. So your ISBN will be printed at the bottom right-hand corner of your book. So make sure that there's nothing important on the lower right-hand side because then it's going to cover it and then you're not going to be able to see it. Your ISBN is free through Amazon, you guys. So they give it out for free as long as you continue to work with them only. So that means you cannot have it. Oh, can you guys see that?
Yes.
Are you guys still seeing
Yes.
it or did it move?
No, it's there.
No, it's there.
Really? I don't know what happened on my side. Let me go back. Okay, here I am. Can you guys see me? Okay, that's the ISBN. Okay, so if you plan to publish on other platforms like Barnes and Nobles, Walmart, Target, and all of those other places, then you got to make sure that you buy your ISBN on Voker.com. And then there you go. That's where it's going to go down here on the lower right-hand side. Okay, Author Central. So this is where you're going to create your Authors Central account on Amazon. This is where you will add your biography and other images to attract your readers to follow you on Amazon so that every time you publish a book, they're going to be notified by it. And this is pretty much how it's going to look like. Then you're going to create your KDP account. Your KDP account is where all of your books are going to be loaded on one platform on Amazon. This is where you're going to monitor your royalties, your payments, and all of the information needed. Then next is when you're going to upload your manuscript and your cover file. And it's going to look like something like this.
So, quick question.
Mm-hmm.
What are you're mentioning these like the Illustrator things that you use? What is the cost?
So it
A
depends.
startup cost.
Yeah, it depends what they charge, really. So for example, my editor now charges $80 an hour. Um, so everybody charges different. I've heard of other editors that charge like $100 an hour. So it just depends who you hire.
Hmm.
The illustrator as well, they usually charge by the page. So like the illustrator that I use now charges $35 each page, and that's because they have to digitalize everything.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay, let's move along. And then this is the way it's going to look like once you start uploading your front and back cover file as well. Then this is the way it's going to look like when you upload your manuscript. So it's all done by steps. And I know this is a lot of information, you guys. So right now, just feel free to like just absorb everything, but this will come up later, especially if you guys work with me, then I will help you figure all of this out. And then how long does it take to publish? So once you load in your book, as you can see down here, it'll take 72 hours to publish. Amazon takes their time to look at it, make sure that everything is in place, in line. in order for them to approve it or deny it. This can take a little while because it can be a little tricky. It could be something so simple that sometimes you can't see and you have to communicate with them directly through the chat. And then I even make mistakes sometimes too, and then I have to redirect myself with them because this could be kind of a difficult process. But it does take 72 hours for them to approve it or deny it. Then Kindle and hardcover are also available here. So now Amazon publishes hardcover books as well now. There used to be a time where they didn't offer hardbook covers. So this actually just got approved. I believe it was last year. And then you have the Kindle version as well that you can create your book into a download version. And then congratulations, once it's approved, then you're a self-published author. Then as soon as you get your book and it goes on live, you want to make sure that you get an email list or you get all of your supporters, all of your people, your family, your friends. Get them to write a review on your Amazon account once they see your book. This is gonna help it boost to the top so that more viewers can see it on Amazon. Video reviews are also great. And then you start promoting your book. So launching your book to a price promotion, you can do that. I don't do that, you guys, because I'm not a marketer and I really pretty much market my own books. And what I do is I continue to talk about them. So if you guys follow me like on TikTok, Instagram, or Facebook, you see that I often talk about my book in different ways or I make different types of videos because I want to keep my pretty much my followers wanting to know more about my book. And then the more followers I get, those are new followers, and then they get interested, and then that's how I make my sales. I notice that once I stop talking about my books, my royalties do go down. Then you can create your own book signing event. And this is some of mine that I've done and participated in. You can also feel free to look up anywhere around your local community. Once they have a book event, you guys want to sign up and be present. That's going to get you known as well. And this is what my program does. So I charge 3,000 from beginning to end. A lot of people already have started their books, so it's not going to be that price. I now choose to work like one-on-one for $50 an hour. So if you want to work with me, this is how I will help you. And then also depending on the work, for example, if you don't need to talk to me and sit there for me with me for a whole hour, what you can do is let me know, hey Erica, it's time for me to finally format my book. Can you help me with that? Then I'll take a look at your book and see how many pages you have and everything, and then I'll give you a set fee. Usually it's about $100 to 150, maybe 200, just depending on how big your book is. And then this is just my self-publishing agreement, making sure that we are all on the same page and that you know that pretty much in order to get your book published, you have to put the work in. This has a lot to do with you working on your book, writing your book, getting it done. I'm there to guide you and make sure that this gets fully published. And then this is just some of my testimonials right here. I have worked with lawyers, I've worked with friends, I worked with family members, and I've also had children as my clients. And then you guys know how to get a hold of me. And that's pretty much it. You guys, it's gonna end like in 2 minutes, but I really, really want to take questions after. So feel free to jump back in for another like 5 minutes if it shuts down. But does anybody have questions right now?
It was amazing. Thank you, Erica.
Oh, you're welcome. You're welcome. I'm glad that it helped. Gloria, did you have any other questions? I can't
It's a
hear
lot
you.
of information, though. It's a lot of
Yeah,
information.
I know. I know. I know it is. That's why I have you guys just take notes. Because I'm pretty sure that you guys will ask me later. other stuff that came up. Yeah, so if there's no other questions, you guys, it's gonna shut down any minute. Thank you for participating. You guys know how to get a hold of me. Feel free to
Thank you,
always
Erica.
inbox me, okay?
Yes, thank you, dear.
Okay, you're welcome. Okay, bye.